So today we're doing the lesson for 5.4, which is called the slope-intercept form. This is just another way that you can graph a line on a coordinate plane without making a table of values, so it's a lot quicker. So the slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. You may have heard that form before. Miss Lukens may have mentioned it to you last year, where m is the slope, b is your y-intercept. So for example, if I give you y is equal to 2x plus 4, your slope, which is now going to be called m, so slope is the number attached to the x, which is 2, and your y-intercept, which is the point where the line crosses the y-axis. So the y-intercept is the back number represented as b, which in this case is 4. So we're going to do several examples using the slope-intercept form. Here's the first example. Y equals 2/3 x minus 2, where again, so your slope, which is the number attached to the x, is 2/3. So it's a rise over run, so rise of 2 and a run of 3. And your y-intercept, which is the point where it crosses the y-axis, is the b, which is -2. Now, before you can ever graph a slope, you have to have the y-intercept. You have to have a starting point. So all you do on your on your coordinate plane, on the y-axis, you plot the point -2. So we go down 2, and we put a dot right there on the -2. That's now your starting point. So from the starting point, you now count your slope. Rise of 2, run of 3. And because they're both positive, you count up 2 and then right 3. So up 2, right 3 would put a dot right there. Once you have those two dots, you have enough points to draw a line and you're ready to draw it. Don't forget to put arrows on both sides and you are officially done that question. That's all you have to do. A lot easier than making a table of values and plotting all those points. So here you only need 2 points. Here's another example. This time I'm not going to write m and y-intercept. We're just going to look at it and graph it directly off of the equation. So you do need your starting point. There is your starting point of your y-intercept. So on the y-axis, at the 3, we put a dot. There we go. For the y-intercept, we have, or sorry, for the slope, I have -4/3. Now, we talked about this last period, where as long as you have a negative sign, it doesn't matter if it's the top negative or the bottom negative. You have a choice. You can count a slope being a rise of -4 and a run of +3, or you can do a rise of +4 and a run of -3. And I'm actually going to do both just so you can see it doesn't matter which way you go. So first I'm going to make the top number negative, which means count down 4 and run of 3. So down 4, run of 3 would put a dot right there. If I did it the other way around, I would count a rise of +4 and a run of -3. So up 4 from that initial dot and a run of 3, which puts it right there. Now that you've got the dots, you see that they make a straight line, so it doesn't matter which way you count it, and you are all set. The next example, y equals 3x plus 4. So again, the y-intercept is 4, so we put a dot on the 4. From there, we have our slope of 3. Well, you may remember that in order to plot a slope, you have to have a rise over a run. So what does that mean? That means 3 over 1. So that's a rise of 3 and a run of 1. So we count up 3, 1, 2, 3, and a run of 1, puts it right there, and draw the line going through those 2 points. Next example, y equals x. Well, notice that the numbers are missing for the m and for the b. Well, in order for you to have an actual x, you have to have a number in front, and it happens to be that invisible 1. So there's a 1 in front, and because it has to be a rise over run, it's actually a 1 over 1. Now, because there's no b, that meant that this had to have been plus 0 because it's non-existent. So that plus 0 is your starting point, which means right on the origin, we're going to put a dot on the 0. Now from there, we're going to count our slope, which is up 1 as a rise, run 1 as a run. So that puts us right there, up 1, right 1. Those are the 2 dots that you need. You're now ready to draw your line. Next one, y equals negative 3x. Again, actually, I want you to put the video on pause and try to graph this on your own right now. So now that we're back, we have to make this a rise over run, so I can put it over 1. Because there's no b, it's actually plus 0. So again, you start at the origin, 0, 0. From there, we count down 3 and a run of positive 1. So down 3, right 1, puts us there, and we are now ready to draw the line. Great. Next example, y equals 4. Now with this, notice that there is an x missing. Now because there's an x missing, that means the value of x, or the value of m, had to have been 0, meaning that there is no slope. In order to graph these, all you have to do on the y-axis is put a 4. So there's our 4. Now because there is no slope, all you do is draw a horizontal. Actually, oops, I missed the line there. Gotta erase it. So on the 4, we draw our line that is horizontal to the x-axis, going through the 4. For the next one, x equals negative 2. Notice now we're missing the y value. So on the x equals negative 2, we put a dot. Now, if the y equals 4 was horizontal line, then x equals negative 2 would be a vertical line. So you are responsible for remembering which one is horizontal and which one is vertical. So we're going to be writing equations and graphing them. We're going to be putting 4x plus 5y equals 10 into the slope-intercept form, which means we have to take that equation and solve it for y to get y equals mx plus b form. So because we're solving for y, that means the 4x is on the wrong side, so we have to move it over. The opposite of adding 4x is subtracting 4x. So 4x's cancel. And we're left with 5y is equal to negative 4x plus 10. Now because we're solving for y, the opposite of multiplying by 5 is to divide. So I'm going to be dividing all 3 parts by 5. Those cancel. I'm left with y is equal to negative 4/5. And again, it doesn't matter where the negative goes. As long as there's only one negative, it could be for the top or for the bottom. And then 10 divided by 5 is 2. Once we've done that, we're now ready to graph it. Graph your y-intercept first, which is 2. So we count from the origin up to, we put a dot. From there, we now do our rise over run, which is rise of negative 4, run of 5. So we count down 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, run of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the dot would be right there. And because we only need 2 dots to draw a line, we can now connect those points and draw our line. Here's the next example. It is of the same form as the one that we just did. I want you to pause your video and try this one on your own. So the first thing we have to do is subtract 2x because we're solving for y. So we subtract 2x from both sides. We have negative 3y is equal to negative 2x plus 9. The opposite of multiplying by negative 3 is to divide, so I'm going to divide all three parts by negative 3. So negative 3's cancel on that side, and we have y is equal to, here two negatives make a positive, so we've got 2/3 x minus 3. Once we've got that, we're now ready to graph it. Again, we need a starting point, which is the y-intercept, which is the value of b, which is negative 3. So we go down 3, we put a dot. From there, we now count our slope of rise over run up to right 3. Up to right 3 puts a dot here. There are the two dots we need to draw a line, connect them, and you are all set. Now we're going to write an equation in y equals mx plus b form. That's your slope-intercept when given the slope and the y-intercept. Now because slope-intercept is y equals mx plus b, all you have to do is substitute the m in and the y-intercept in for the b. So y equals m is 4, so we replace that. The y-intercept, which is your b, is positive 7. I substitute that in, and I am already done the question. Here's another example for you. Do that one on your own right now. Okay, so now because we have to do y equals mx plus b form, I'm just going to write it down so it's easy to substitute. M we know is negative 5 over 8, so y equals negative 5 over 8 x, and because y-intercept is negative 4, that's the value of b, substituted in, and we get y equals negative 5/8 x minus 4. We're going to write an equation for each line. So here I have a line on a coordinate plane. I need two things. I need my y-intercept, and I need my slope. Well, here's my y-intercept right there at the 5. So already I know that b is equal to 5. From there, I now need to find an exact spot where it crosses one of the blue lines of the grid. And it could be anywhere. I just happen to like this point right there. So from there, I now have to count my slope. So now because it's up 3 and right 2, my slope, which is m, is 3 over 2. Once I've done that, I am now ready to write my equation. It's the same as what was on the last slide. So because it's in the form of y equals mx plus b, my slope is 3 over 2. X just carries down, and my b is 5, which is plus 5, and that is all I have to do. Here is the next example. I want you to pause the video and try it on your own. So here is my y-intercept. So b is negative 2. And from there, I have to find another point where it crosses exactly. It looks like there's a one down here, but there can be others as well. So from there, I now have to count down to here, which is down 4. And then going this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So run of 5. So m is rise over run, which is negative 4 over 5. I have all the information that I need. Y equals mx plus b. Substitute the b and the m in. So y equals negative 4/5 x minus 2. And that's all I have to do. And now we're going to write an equation of a line in slope-intercept form when I give you 2 points. So here I've got point A, point B. I need to first of all find the slope. So let's see. So find the slope. So slope we know is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we did that last class. As you learned last class, it doesn't matter which order you go as long as you keep it in the same direction. So slope is equal to, I'm going to start with the 3. So I've got 3 minus negative 9, which is plus 9, over 2 minus negative 1, which is plus 1. So slope is equal to 12 over 3, which equals 4. So once I've done that, I am now going to, using y equals mx plus b, I have to find out what my b is. I don't know it at this point. So y equals mx plus b. I get to choose any of the 2 points, a or b. It does not matter which one I pick, but sometimes one is easier than the other. Most people look at A and say, oh, there's all those negatives, so I'm going to avoid that one, and I'm going to pick B. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to pick B. So I'm going to pick the point 2 and 3. So this happens to be the x, this is the y. I plug those in along with my m, and I can find B. So I've got 3 is equal to, m is 4, x is 2, b I don't know. So that's solve for b. So we've got 3 is equal to 4 times 2 is 8 plus b. So I subtract 8 from both sides. Those cross out. 3 minus 8 is negative 5. So negative 5 is equal to b. Once I've done that, I now have my m, I have my b, and I can write my equation. So y equals mx plus b is the final form that I need. M is 4, so it's going to be 4x. B is negative 5 minus 5, and that is my official answer. Here is the last example. I want you to turn off the video and try it on your own. Okay, so we have to find slope first. So m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And again, it doesn't matter which way you do your subtraction as long as it's in the same direction for both. So if I start with b, I've got negative 4 minus 0 over negative 7 minus minus, which is plus 5. So this gives me negative 4 over negative 2, which equals 2. Now I need to pick one of the 2 points. It doesn't matter which one you pick. You only need one. So I'm going to pick, again, I'm going to pick B. So this is x, this is y. So I've got y equals mx plus b. I've got negative 4 equals m is 2, x is negative 7 plus b. So I've got negative 4 is equal to negative 14 plus b. So I add 14 to both sides. Those cross out, and 10 is equal to b. Once I've done that, I can now substitute my m and my b into y equals mx plus b. So y equals 2x plus 10, and there is my equation. So that was all that we're going to be covering for this lesson. You're going to be doing page 249, numbers 18 through 60, only the evens. And thank you so much for being in my class today.